Hello, hello. Buying back all my power to me now from anyone using it with or without my permission, or anyone just in it either without my permission. Um, hey Juan, hi Will, hi Nikki, hi Farfully. Sure, I have that turned up. I just had some beautiful needed energy work done. Very rarely I indulge in just going to someone kind of new to get some energy work done for me. But I did. No regrets. Hi, James. Hi, Alicia. Is it your other account that you have membership on, James? I think. Hi, Adva. Okay, so thank you to the replay viewers. Also, you guys are the kind of meat and potatoes of my views. I'm gonna use this for a light today. Today we're going to look at this week's upcoming astrology. From like end of July into beginning of September, there's going to be a lot of intense. Intense doesn't have to mean bad, but there is some very intense energy. Lori, I was not there Friday night. We usually do the round table astrologers, and this weekend we finally had a chance to go to the good grocery store that's a bit away from me, and stock up on all the stuff that I need for my health, blah blah blah. Anyway, we were there. It was the only time that we could go, and the kids love going there too, so we wanted all three of us go. And with my daughter's work schedule, I was there instead of being on the round table Friday night astrologers meetup, where we also play D&D. So I get to completely nerd out in every possible way. And Lori was looking to see, and so go be checking out Awake Space, and the magazine. If you're at the magazine level, she's going to do a whole article on exactly what she found. She had to go back to the 12th century to find astrology close to what we have in August. It was, we have a lot going on. So the energy is intense on a mundane level, and also like maybe feeling internally and externally. And that is because, that is because there's change that needs to happen in the world. There are things, it's time for that fairy to turn around, and fairies turn around very slowly. And so we're going to feel a little bit, the main reason for that is to help us. We're also going to feel that a little bit on an internal level. And I've been thinking about, do I want to do like monthly for all the rising signs? Do I want to do? And then it just felt right and aligned to start doing, especially right now, just let's take it week by week. And my taking things day by day and not having expectations or attachments to things, it took me a long time to get there. And I lost a little of that. And this Mercury retrograde and the Saturn retrograde and the Neptune retrograde in Aries all have kind of helped me come back around. Thank goodness that I didn't go too far down that that rabbit hole into old wounds. But you know, it's going to be an intense time, and the best thing we can do that with intensity is to look inwards to see what we can adjust, what we have control over. Any toxicity in our lives that we either allow or we got comfy with because the moving forward with our lives seems scarier than sitting in the discomfort of the current toxicity. And that is something I talk about a lot. But again, yeah, especially this weekend, there was a moment where someone that knows me well is like, hey. And so, and we need that to get out of expectation mode, to get out of attachment mode. Sometimes we need like a loving hand to say, you good? What's going on? You're a little different. And so we're going to continue to have this energy through August. I will pull the tarot, looking at what you can change that maybe you don't realize you can change, and what's going to come in to be supportive to you. Because I feel like without toxic positivity, without pretending, still looking at what we have the agency to move in our own lives, sign by sign, according to the astrology this week, and what may be coming in supportive for us. If it's something I can give you that then you can use your free will and actually do what you can, do something about anything you can control. So that'll be channeled and from the guides for those signs or houses or however. And if you're here and you hear something and it sounds like it's your situation, listen, your guides will get you to the messages they're supposed to get you to the people that happened to me also. Yesterday, they'll get you to the people that you need to connect with, to center or to help support you being in your authenticity, whatever it is. So if I seem a little less energetic, I just had energy work done. So I'm like in a really calm, peaceful place and grounded, which is why I'm a little tardy, because I wanted to take the extra time to make sure I was fully grounded. Because this week, the transits are transiting. I think, again, listen to Lori and the Awake Space or her TikTok account. I mean, the Patreon is the best place, but anywhere you can get Lori. And she'll talk about that on a mundane level. My interest is how I can be supportive for everybody on a personal level. And that'll be the astrology, which I have nothing to do with. That'll be your guides and the cards, which will not also be anything from me. And then, yes, I may have a little suggestion for support tools as we do this. So with no more ado, is that the right? I don't know. Mercury in retrograde. I'm tripping over my words more than ever. I don't want to overspeak either. Let's get into the astrology. And we'll start with today. Without further ado, thank you, Juan. Man, you're like my own personal Google. Who needs Alexa when you have a Juan? And I get to see you tomorrow. Okay. So we start the week off and we're a few hours later. So let's fix that. But we started our morning off with the moon in Sag. Okay, and here we are right now. So this morning might have felt a little emotionally wired. There may have been, should I do this or should I do that? You may be surprised by the things that came to you, could have been surprised by the things you felt. You could have gone to like a higher place belief system, or you could have gone to somebody, which is what ended up happening with me. You could have gone to somebody who's kind of a guide or a practitioner, a teacher of some sort this morning for any kind of anything that feels unstable in your life. Now, that could have been turning on the TV, that could have been going on TikTok, that could have been talking to a friend, that could have been you in prayer to whoever that your guides are, what your belief system is. It could have been purely non-secular and just have been going to a book or anything to try to find that balance. With Uranus in Gemini, which way do I go? What do I do? It feels like there's two very clear paths, and bouncing between them may feel a little uncomfortable, especially because Pluto in that trine with Uranus in retrograde makes you want to rethink how you're going to come to the transformation. And any didn't see that coming, felt sucker punched by this or that. And then the want for your own transformation. This is about you, not about anybody else, right? It could make you feel at a subconscious level, and that at a very deep place, without even having to think about it hard, somewhere underneath the surface, that this time in your life is indeed very transitional, which puts more weight to all the decisions, all the everythings, right? All the conversations. It feels like a very pivotal time. And that'll mean something different for everybody, but at the same time, that's probably right what we're looking at here. Obviously, we still have the sun in Leo. It is now passed and separated from this Leo Mercury retrograde, which has just been all kinds of fuckery. I'm glad that Venus and the moon today are at least having some kind of aspect with it. Nikki, like every time I go live. Sorry, folks, a furry toddler. He doesn't want his sister to want to go outside, so he bites her scruff, and she's grown ass and she don't want that. So unpleasant noises. We do have Venus in the moon in a trine today. So that is, in a quincunx today. We have the moon making an application of a trine to the Mercury retrograde. So however we really, really feel about a belief system, I would be careful about having important conversations, trying to communicate anything overly that feels more like emotion rather than grounded, calm, fact-based. Our emotions are important. You have to feel your feelings, not just think them. And also, with the fire involved and this unrestricted flow of this trine, and because Mercury is in retrograde, and because we could be speaking out of our current identity, including whatever wounds we work out of, whatever safety, right, features we have that have become part of our personality, that have become part of a survival need that we possibly don't need anymore. And what happens is when we outgrow a survival mindset, just one of them, when we outgrow a survival tool that we've acclimated to, and there's such nuance to it that it doesn't seem obvious to us. The way that universe will get us to move this out of our way, and that's what the transits are here to do right now. The way that universe will get us to move this out of our way is to, sadly, bring it to our attention by having maybe discourse with a person, or having discourse with your doctor's office, or reacting to something, not because you're egotistical, not because you're vain. Don't think about the stereotypical. Archetypes and stereotypes are two different things. We're not worried about stereotypes. Let those go. But what drives us is also our vital energy. The sun is associated with Leo, and how we survive every day, how we keep our energy levels in survival mode sometimes is very connected to whatever we needed in our earlier environments to get what we needed. Whatever that is, that's different for everybody. That whatever we had to do so that we could get what are our basic needs, which are also love, also feeling wanted, also feeling protected, also feeling safe, right? So however we've overcorrected, because now we don't need that, universe will show you with this Mercury in retrograde in Leo, it'll come up in a way that's unavoidable, because if we don't go out of our way to go seek and look, universe it'll just keep happening until it's unavoidable. Or as Lori Rivers says, universe will turn up the volume. It makes me happy that we have a lot of the same sayings, just different. I'm not really looking at that. Venus is definitely applying to Jupiter, which is going to be very interesting as that gets closer. That'll be next week when it really kind of is spot on. But Venus is in a semi-sextile, and Mercury moves faster, but it's moving backwards. This isn't really having, again, this is one of those whisper conversations that I'm not really going to pay a lot of attention to. But today probably is the day to have conversations with yourself, with a trusted advisor who has no skin in the game, or going to educational places, however you feel comfort, wherever you would seek comfort from knowledge, from guidance, from church or prayer or whatever it is. Today would be a day to do that, and maybe not address something, especially if it's conflictual. We have the South Node starting to approach Mars. That's going to get interesting also as the month goes on. Let's look. Of course, tomorrow we still have the moon in Sag. It's starting to square the nodes here tomorrow, and it's now really only making an aspect with the nodes. And then on Tuesday, the moon moves into Capricorn, and it starts to immediately make, and as it moves through Tuesday and Wednesday, it's going to have an opposition to both both to Venus and Jupiter. That's a very interesting aspect, because when the moon is in Capricorn, it's very caretaking. It's very rooted in trying to help others, but it needs to feel strong. It doesn't sometimes always love when we have the two benefics at this point in a wide conjunction, but and an applying conjunction. On the other side of this seesaw, with the moon as the day goes by. And as that happens, there could be an internal struggle between, I don't have the room to feel anything but strong right now, and I'm resisting whatever's coming at me with this Jupiter Venus. Now, this could also be somebody who feels protective of you, making some incredible gesture that makes you feel all warm and gooey inside. And I hope for everyone listening, that's the way that you get the expression of that seesaw. But if you are feeling this internally, it's the moon. And it feels like too much. That could be how this expresses. Of course, also when the moon first goes into Capricorn on the 5th, on Tuesday morning, we also have it make an immediate square with cardinal energy to the Saturn and the Neptune retrograde. And it's in conjunct to both the which means it's semi-sextile to the Pluto, and it's quincunx to the Uranus. So, you know, Capricorn's not a big fan of the disturbance of Uranus. So something kind of indirect may happen, or something that's affects you, but affects you by like 2 degrees of separation or 3 degrees of separation. The squaring of Saturn this day, this may really have you examining like how comfortable am I being really soft and vulnerable and not being strong, but being, I have said for years on my platform, the strongest we can be is when we are standing in our vulnerability and still feel strong. That's the strongest, not fuck all these motherfuckers, not like, look at me, I'm so tough, not any of that. When we can still be strong and feel grounded in the depth of our vulnerability and the rawness and the transparency of our vulnerability, that is when we are really in our best version of strength for us. Having it be squared by the Saturn, looking at where you can soften, where where you can examine your authenticity. And do we have to be so tough? Do we have to be so defensive? Or can we just stand in that vulnerability and not feel the need to defend so much why we're doing this? Or maybe that was what you needed to survive and now you don't. And also, where are you caretaking too much where you're not getting back? So that's interesting for Tuesday. And then, of course, the moon continues to be in Capricorn and makes the opposition to Jupiter. It's going to be more of the same. At least it comes out of that square with Saturn and Neptune. And then we're going to have moon conjunct Pluto on the 7th. And that moon is also going to be in a trine with Mars that moves into Libra also on Thursday. This is a very interesting day. So, you know, it's a grand trine here. And I'm just going to show this. So in case I'm using language that everybody's like, what the hell is she talking about? We have this here making an aspect to this air sign and then an aspect to this air sign. So we have Moon Pluto with unrestricted flow in a big way because it's a grand trine. It's not just one element at a same degree as another element, which is what forms a trine. But we have a grand trine here, and it's got Uranus, Pluto, and Mars. It's also having, a conversation. It's also still, it's in a sextile. It's in a harmonious relationship to here. This is then another 60 degrees from here. And this, of course, now is an opposition. Looks like a little airplane, and an opposition to this Mars. Thursday into Friday. And we have this, which is just super, I want what I want. You know, and that this Venus right now is getting out of its square with that Saturn. Like, are we wanting what we want regardless of what the reality is? Fairness, what we're willing to do when something isn't fair. Really trying to detach, also feeling emotional, also having to examine our own authenticity and how grounded in reality, and doing all of that while we are maybe dealing with some curveballs externally. This week is a week, folks. There could be emotional burning things that you want to say to somebody this week. I don't know that I would pick this week. And I know it's hard to be patient, but thank goodness our two strong planets in Aries is retrograde. So hopefully that helps everybody be a little. Hey, little John and Maricela. Oh, it's not letting me control. I can't get into the chat. And Zoom is being weird. I think because the annotation is on. Hold on. There we go. Yeah. Not poor Nikki, poor Annie. Nikki bites Annie because he's jealous because she gets to go outside. Keep telling him those other cats outside are Temu cats and he's an Amazon Prime cat. He doesn't belong outside. He's not for the streets. He would never survive. Poor little John. Okay. Mercury glitch. Did it erase everything or is it on my screen? I can't tell. Anyway. Friday, the energy is bubbling up to the Aquarius full moon. If you're in membership, you know that I just did a video yesterday. We started a series of which lunations that are coming up specifically. Do we want to put moon water out? What are the intentions should be? There's an eclipse that's covered in there. How do we want to do moon water? Do we want to do moon water at all? Do we want to charge our crystals? What are so we went over the general like vibe of the next 4 lunations. They're intense. There's one full moon in there that's nicer than either of the new moons, or it's just a little bit less chaotic. So if you're in membership and you're hearing this, go hop on that video because I've got you covered to the end of September with what you should be doing, because new moons don't always mean charging crystals and water. And there's also, and that of course is just my opinion, do whatever you want to do. But there's also other things you can do that would be supportive to you during each of the lunations, new moons or full moons. Friday's just still have Mars at 1 degree opposite this Saturn and this Neptune. I can't even imagine what that's going to look like out in the world, but I mean, Mars and Libra, sometimes it's not exactly the same as Gemini, but there's 2 scales, right? Weighing out the higher good, the right thing to do, what really brings justice to a situation can bring hesitancy, even though it's a cardinal sign. So the Mars on the other side of that Saturn Neptune can look like, self-examination, hopefully, with hesitancy before we pull anything. Be careful with all of this energy in that hesitancy. There's no passive aggression. There is no sideways moves. The less direct you are in this kind of energy, because you haven't really felt like you can pick a lane and commit to it with how you're going to deal with something right now, be careful this if you go sideways, because it's still trining with Pluto and Uranus, and it's still very emotional, and Mercury's still in retrograde, and we're about to have a full moon here, and Mercury is getting closer to stationing. It's in the degree that it's going to station, so it's starting to slow, which gives it a little bit more power. I would not. And I mean, it's technically now in an opposition with Pluto, which is trining all the other things. And we're in the bubbling, applying energy of the full moon. Also not a day to not only have the conversation or deal, but if you can't deal directly with it, have a healthy redirect for yourself and don't go sideways. This is not a day I would gossip. This is not a day that I just would not make lateral moves wait till that moon. And then here we are at the 9th. Holy Bazoli. So when the moon is, this is happening at like 3 o'clock in the morning, I want to say. Yeah. It's 17 degrees. Exactly. Is our full moon. Just rare. So while the full moon is only having an indirect conversation with the nodes, the other thing is happening here is we have that Mars and Libra at 1 degree making a grand trine with the Uranus and the Pluto, and Mars also opposite the Saturn and the Neptune, and Mars also making a sextile with the Mercury in retrograde. It's really more of a domicile, but I'm not going to hash those details here. There's a lot of everything talking to each other. Jupiter is the one thing, I mean, it has the conjunction with Venus. It's kind of applying to the moon is really in separation from that. So but you might still feel big desires for things that don't feel like they can come to you that day, or it might just make you very determined. If there is determination from an emotional, passionate way and things feel like they are blocking you or you're getting thrown curveballs, I'm going to tell people being reactive this week, but this weekend, even with the best intentions, even if you think that you're approaching it in a good way, have healthy redirects, sit with it. I personally won't be putting out. I will do a whole full moon special. I'm not charging shit in this energy. Pluto, Uranus, and Mars in all the ways that you could possibly overthink, overanalyze, and overhesitate, and be less direct. I don't Do you guys want me using crystals on you with all that energy? Now, if you're a practitioner, if you know what you're doing, and if you want to make full moon water because you use it in your I have no, you like it, I love it for you. I personally will not. I will not. I will stick with I still have jugs of my Cancer new moon water. And I'm still using in all my health products and other things and drinking it. And my Leo new moon water. I will stick with that. I will probably make water for the Pisces full moon, actually, but that's again in the membership video. So that is our astrology for the week. How about that? I will do a whole full moon in Aquarius special. So if you have questions, look out for that this week. I will answer questions. And what I probably will do is make it public. So because I won't have time to make 2 full videos. And then if you are a member, I will read your chart. I will give you a mini read for if you are evolutionary. Sorry, if you are nerd or gratitude members, there's 4 levels of membership. I'm gonna pop out the chat. There we go. And I feel backwards, so I'm going to. It's weird to look at myself backwards. I mean, we're all going to have emotions. I mean, it's a full moon, so things are bubbling, right? Mercury conjunct the transiting moon. You know, the Mercury, Aquarius Mercury, I wouldn't worry that much because it's fairly thoughtful. Any the Saturn and progressive part, the way that you will update Aquarius Mercury doesn't really have use for antiquated information. They will be very proactive in seeking updated information. The only thing that I will say to you is if you have an Aquarius Mercury and it's hitting either the Pluto or if you have an Aquarius Mercury in the low degrees of Aquarius, you're sitting in that trying to Uranus for a while. With the Mars, it's going to be a couple of days. Even if somebody's asking for help, that is probably not a day to give out your sage advice or your new information because it just won't be received well. It's going to be very tender. Okay, I've turned off anything that's showing me numbers or anything else because I know people aren't used to the astrology part in the beginning and they're just like, pull the cards, lady. Or if Kate was here, she would say, do it, lady. She wouldn't tell me to shut up and just pull cards, but do it, lady. Do it, I shall. Woo. I'm just going to take I call back all my power from anyone using it with or without my intention or just being in my energy without my permission, with or without my permission. And I reject and release any energy that's not meant for me or not in my highest good. And just protecting the space. Hit you again. Yeah, and just protecting the space so that if energy isn't aligned with me, then it's not in here. Okay. I just felt something. Okay. One of the things that I've been doing as very cheap therapy is I have been food prepping, which is so like making Kroger. It's probably not the best chicken, but Kroger has $5 chicken. You can get drumsticks, you can get thighs, you can get chicken breasts. And once in a while, since Emily works there, you know, she's gonna always check out the $5 chicken and see what they have. So always grab thighs when you can. But sometimes you're getting like because it's $5 no matter what the weight. And I don't know, sometimes whoever's packaging it, it's usually 3 or 4. The last one, they were so huge that I was able to get like 8, 9 chicken cutlets out of the $5 huge chicken cutlets. And so I packaged all of them. I made our mayo. I made a campfire mayo for Emily. I packed her lunch. We went like bulk shopping and got a whole bunch of stuff. I've been like packaging everything. I've been putting also, if you can now, I will say this. It's not as indicative as this week's, but if you haven't already, like even go get whatever solar lights at the dollar store so that if we have prolonged power outages, those are the safest night lights instead of lighting candles. Get some non-perishables. Make sure you're good on canned foods. Look up videos about how to can eggs. Your friendly neighborhood astrologer and tarot reader is gently telling you to go watch videos about how to can eggs. I'm not saying canned meat. I'm not there yet. I would never trust it. It would just be a waste of money. But you know, I got stuff in bulk and then sectioned them out for like 2 weeks. Like whether that's goldfish crackers or snacks for the kids, because you can't buy all that stuff in bulk and then leave it there with 2 hungry Tauruses and expect them not to eat it. So it all got sectioned off for like daily and then got put away in some place no one will ever look for it. Not saying here, it's not safe. So that it's just done. It's put away. Parmalat milk, you know, canned coconut is great too. But if you have a grill, make sure you have like a Dutch oven or something that you can use as like a mini oven on your grill. But yeah, you want to stock up, especially pet food and stuff like that. You know, it's eclipse season. The weather's going to be, it could just be weather stuff that stops deliveries, or we have issues with produce and other things. Hey, Will, corned beef in the kind of rectangular cans? Yes. I mean, I got canned chicken. We have Spam. Not gonna lie. I mean, I don't eat it a lot, but like in a pinch. I also have a little thing though that'll run a mini fridge. I have a solar panel thing that goes in the ground that'll run like a mini fridge. Yeah, pickling I've been doing for years. I love pickling, and Emily loves pickle everything. So like pickles. And my dad loved pickles, and I used to do anything for my dad. Oh my God. So when I figured out how to give him his half sour New York style dill pickles when he was living in Florida, he missed them so much. He was from Queens. Half sours or something is hard to find outside of New York. Probably some of you are like, I don't even know what that is. So pickling I've been doing for a while. There is a way to can eggs without pickling them, and you can them without like So they're just, you can just use them for baking or anything. I would probably still be nervous to use them. I wish people who are taught canning from like generation to generation would give like local college seminars and stuff. I would sign up tomorrow. I'm just saying, and we're supposed to be doing community stuff. Because I feel like if I got to practice in front of somebody, they could tell me what I'm doing wrong. Where if I'm watching a YouTube or a TikTok, like they can't come through the screen and tell me how I'm about to give myself salmonella. All right. Let's look at Aries. Let's look at Aries. No wonder I was shuffling so long. Just did not feel right. Because there was a whole other mini stack of these cards right there. Pickling is so good though for you. You're 100% right. That's like kimchi or sauerkraut, fermenting. But yeah, guys, get yourselves, just think of like hurricane season, or if you've ever had your electric out in the neighborhood for 2 weeks, food shortages, weather stopping, we could have things that I think on the 17th, they're talking about like a nationwide blackout of work or consumership, and so there could be other things like that. Because you don't want to have to buy once it's like really out there that this is what we're doing, the prices are going to reflect it and be raised. Queen of Pentacles. Aries, the thing that you can move into to help all of this is grounding. That makes sense to me with Neptune in your sign and in retrograde. You're seeing clearly about things. The passionate part of you that wants to run into the building and save someone or save something or help or be protective or any of that, it is better. I want you to see this card. Do we see how beautiful and grounded and serene and peaceful and steady and confident this queen is? Aries wants to move. And I'm telling you, it's better off to just sit with something right now. It's funny. I feel Zoe. I don't know if she's going to end up coming in here, but I just saw her face. What is the thing that is going to maybe come in that you're not expecting, but is happening, whether it feels good at the time or your ultimate good? Okay. Someone's going to try to come back, Aries. This is also good for like first house placements. Someone's going to try to come back. I'm going to pull a second card because I don't know that this is a good thing for all of you. Yeah. If you go back, there's something that you don't know. This seems to be almost one reading. Sit steady. We have the death card in reverse. So something is going to try to, that maybe should be nails on a coffin, is going to try to possibly come back. And this Fool card is saying, do not leap without looking. We talk about Libra having sometimes a hesitation. They're welcome to try, LOL. we talk about Libra sometimes having hesitation because they want to make sure they're doing the fair thing, the right thing. And so with this Aries energy, it's very important to actually take on maybe some of the hesitation that Libra has to offer before you jump back into a reunion or just letting this person back in. Okay, Taurus, what are we getting this week? What are we getting this week? Sorry, everybody. I'm a little bit not myself. I'm not gonna, obviously, that's in my energy. It's probably palpable. Last week was a good I promise I will be silly and exuberant and all the other things I normally am again next week. I will be happy when we're on the other side of this Aquarius full moon. This is very interesting, Taurus. I'm also getting that there is, for you, that there is more under your belt than you realize. There might be some kind of change that you're dealing with from when Uranus was in Taurus. And we still have Mars in Virgo right now, which could be in a trine. It could be, it's been going through Virgo. There's some kind of change, possible conflict that you're dealing with, Taurus placements, second house placements. And you're more ready than you think for, I know Taurus sometimes can be a little resistant to change, but you are more ready than you think you are. That makes sense. You have so much wisdom and like experience. There's something you have experience with or time with. There's something that you have time with. You have more time under your belt. Your lived experience may be that you feel like it's more fragile than you have the capacity to handle, but I'm getting I'm getting you're more steady than you used to be about certain things, and that your own stability that you built will show up. The thing that you may not see coming is actually a release of inner conflict that you've been struggling with for a long time. I think that's beautiful for Taurus. I think you're probably overdue after having Uranus in your chart for so long. I don't even want to pull another card for that because that's so nice. Yeah. Like whatever this battle is, like you won. I don't know that whether it's, I don't think you're used to winning until it's like a drag out bloody fight for whoever I'm reading this for. Again, any Taurus placements or second house placements that this would resonate for, or your guides will get you to the messages you're supposed to get to. All right, Gemini, this deck is done though. Gemini, what do your guides want you to know? That you have like agency you can either move or settle into? Okay. Gemini, you tend to be knowledgeable, mercurial, information forward. There's something right now that you don't have to have an answer to. You don't have to be the boss about it. You don't have to, you don't have to be in charge of this. Like, that responsibility is not supposed to be for you. I'm hearing to say no. I'm hearing to say no. This is not your circus. This is not your monkeys. And if you continue to try to be, not the authority in a bossy way, because I don't even think you want that, but it's surrendering and not having to have the answers and not having, like, saying, I don't have the answers for this, so I don't want to be responsible for the outcome or help make the decision. It feels like there's pressure for something for you. Gemini placements, third house placements also. And they're just saying it's not your monkey, it's not your circus, it's not your monkeys, and don't get hung up on having to be the authority, be the final word on this. It's not your job to do that. It's like somebody else is trying to put something on you so that if it goes sour for somebody here. The thing you may not see coming in is wonderful. A manifestation that you started with a long time ago may be coming in. Could be some kind of a release, but it almost feels emotional, like there's like a tortured poet inside of you, or a tortured, maybe I'm just thinking of the Tortured Poets Society, but not to be confused with the Dead Poets Society. One's the Department of Society. Like the really mushy part of you hasn't been safe to let out, but there's a manifestation coming through for you that allows you a safe place to release that. That is coming up. That Uranus and Gemini is going to help change things up. Listen, Uranus looks crazy on the outside, and it sometimes it feels a little wonky when it's going through our chart or hitting our placements in any way, but it's there to liberate us from what no longer serves us. It is 100% our friend. Cancer. Woo. Okay, it's get up. It's time to move. It's time to be busy. It's time to not, if they're with now Venus and Jupiter's been in your sign a while, with the Scorpio moon that was trining your placements a couple of days ago. Well, I mean, up until last night, there could have been some deep things that you felt so much that it just put the brakes on everything. It might have been distraction. You might have gone to sleep. You might have gone to avoidance. And it's time for you to get your groove back. That was a weird thing to say. Which is, cancers operate out of safety. So all people do, but that shell is there for a reason. I almost want to say good for you. You rested when you needed to. You're entitled to be healthy and take space. But it's like safe to go back in the water. The thing that you should know that's coming up is you're going to get some information, and it's not great. You're going to get some advice or information, Cancer, this week. And it may be off beliefs that either don't resonate with your reality, that they're not 3D reality aligned. But someone that means well and maybe even has some Stacy, I was just talking about you. Hi, babe. So this somebody is well-meaning Cancer, and they're going to come in and they're going to probably come in like strong. They're going to come in strong and pretty steadfast in what they feel like they're telling you this for your own good. It's got a flavor of something else over it. Probably all this fuckery in the planets, right? So take that with a grain of salt, and I wouldn't act on it. I do think this person means well when they're giving you their advice, their opinion, blah, blah, blah. And at the same time, it is mixed up in some other stuff. It's safe to go back in the water and also just be very, and just if information comes to you this week, I would not be reactive to a whole lot this week, but I definitely wouldn't be reactive to advice or like somebody giving you a warning about something. I know that's hard, especially because cancers are so intuitive. Ground and feel into your own guidance. If it really, sometimes when I'm being given advice or guidance, it'll make me uncomfortable because there's something I need to move out of. Lori said something to me last week and she's like, I know you don't want to hear this. And I was like, no, you're just confirming. And you're right. It's not that I don't want to hear it. I don't want it to be true. I don't want it to be necessary. I don't want to have to deal with that. Right. I just don't wanna, which is different than this feels not, but it still felt like when she said it, it resonated as true with my Cancerian intuition, right? Wasn't meditating. We were just talking about this, that, and the other thing. And she was saying like, you're at a growth place and blah, blah, blah. And I mean, that woman knows my chart. And she's also hella psychic. But there's a difference between that and somebody's telling you something and every fiber in your being is like, that does not feel right. It doesn't feel safe or it doesn't feel comfortable. You can be in that situation and the person who's giving you that advice or whatever wants the best for you. You could mean the world to them. And for whatever reason, without bad intention, whatever they are getting for you or whatever their advice for you is wrapped up in other stuff, like their own experiences, their own identities, their own whatever. So I'm just saying that's what it feels like this week, Cancer. So it's not going to come off as somebody like a bad actor trying to give you bad advice. It may come off like wrapped in love and good intention, but just not something you should act on. Okay, Leo. Leo, what do we have that your guides want you to know that you maybe have more power in this situation than you think? Ooh, my cards are being really 3 readings and they're done. 2 readings and they're done. Yeah, right. Because we did Aries and Taurus, and then we just did Gemini and Cancer. I have a lot of decks. We can do this all day. Okay, you know what? I want all of my cards not to fall over, but I won't. We have not used this in a minute. My favorite. All right. And Leo deserves nothing less than my favorite. And this was given to me by a Leo. Very appropriate. My favorite card in my favorite deck, it's very hard to see. The amazing, amazing Teresa Griffin made that for me for my birthday 1 year. It is a painted version of this card. I love this lovers card because this is such an odd couple. It means that like you will probably, the thing that you have more is the choice, Leo, is the choice. There is a good match for you, whether this is romantic or not. It is your choice. I don't know what would be keeping anybody from exacting using their free will. There's lots of reasons that sometimes we don't use our free will. But this particular lovers card says you probably weren't looking for this connection. Doesn't have to be romantic, but you probably weren't looking for it. And it may not be, the hesitancy could be it's not your type. Or I'm picking this up, for two people, and I got it may be your type and the type that has burned you again and again. So now you're like, I don't do that. Like for a longest time, I was like, I will not date another musical person. Oh, do you play an instrument? Okay, great. Stop talking to me. Do you sing? Great. Stop talking. Yeah. And I've said that several times and then still gave in to a connection. There's something around that with this. It's either not what you're expecting because it's not your type, or if somebody told you, you would have been like 100% never, or it's so your type that you're like, but this person is different, but it's going to be your choice. And it could be a connection that you're meant to experience, and it might not be the walk into the sunset person, but the connection is there for you to experience if you choose. I don't know if you're waiting for them to approach you, and it doesn't have to be like that. I'm hearing just to start the conversation, Leo. Again, it doesn't have to be romantic. Okay. The thing that you might not see coming is that, oh my God, could there be more? We have the lovers, which is the choice, which is the major arcana of Gemini. And then we have the two of swords, which is a Gemini card in the minor arcana. I don't know if you can all hear that. It's not a sound I'm used to hearing on my block, but a car just backfired. And I'm positive it was a car because then it started. Literally, my soul left my body there for 2 seconds because I was like, is that gunshots outside my door? Nope. I live in a very quiet, like very quiet neighborhood, very quiet street. The thing you may not be expecting, Leo, I think you're getting a lot of advice, and you have to go, you're going to find the answer using your intuition or using meditation, or I feel like there's a part of you that doesn't want to listen to anybody's, and my throat is killing me right now, like right here. Feels like there's almost somebody leaning on it. Don't worry about the approval. There's somebody you almost want to like take their advice because you know that they love you or whatever else. But you know, there's like a third way that's coming to you. I also feel like you have to, I know I'm not reading for children, but I almost feel like you might have divorced parents that kind of put you in the middle. I'm feeling a very like you're getting two sets of advice and these people are almost competing against each other kind of thing. I don't know. I'm going to tell you, go to your favorite tarot reader and get, even if it's like one, like ask the question you need to ask. Like you need confirmation, but the confirmation should come in. It's the thing that you are thinking, the thing that you are feeling, the thing that you are gravitating towards. Again, I don't think we're reacting on anything this week. You might be coming into your gifts too. I'm gonna be honest. You might be coming into your gifts, Leo, like big time right now. Don't forget, it's done at 4 degrees. It's now just going back minutes till it stations. But when it's stationing, it's going to be in this like weird trine with that Neptune in Aries in retrograde. So you really could be getting, your gifts could be developing really strong this week. And so if that is new to you, go seek out somebody that can give you kind of like some guidance and or confirm the question if there's something. But there's, I don't know who I just felt that for, what Leo in my community or somebody who's going to watch this video that doesn't know me before today or whenever they watch. But that literally hurt, felt like somebody punched me in the throat on this side. It's fun being clairsentient sometimes. I kind of feel damned if you do and damned if you don't. And it's almost better that you go like the not wanting to pick whose advice or who's whatever that you follow or actually catapult you. And this is what I was talking about with Leo in retrograde and like the healing that we can get out of it is that the thing we need to examine will, if we don't see it because it's too nuanced and it's so part of like who we are because of a survival mechanism, it will, universe will show us by creating not necessarily conflict, but a situation where it's illuminated. And I think this choice of people or two ways that I think going your own, I think your gifts are coming in and you having to trust your own judgment because you can't go to either side, or if you do go to either side, it's just going to create more drama for you, which regardless of the stereotypes of Leo, you really don't want. Yeah. It's going to bring you to heightened gifts, I think, for quite a few of you. Virgos. Woo. Okay. The thing that you have more power over that you can change is that there is Virgo, there's disparity. There is a situation that, and this is for 6th house too, the last reading was for 5th house, Cancer was for 4th. If you so choose, if you have strong placements there. You know, Virgos keep getting this thing about money. Like somebody wanting to borrow money, but maybe not really able to pay you back. And I'm getting this again. It's specifically money. Careful where you are careful with your spending too. You're either giving partially your time, but there's a money thing here. I keep getting this again and again for Virgo. Even in Virgo personal readings, I had one 3 days ago where it came up. What was that? What was it, Thursday? Yeah. And I mean, that sounds like, especially today, like if somebody really needs the help, not, but this is, I think this is a different situation, and you know. The thing that you're not expecting is that there could be somebody very passionate coming in for support, somebody coming in that kind of like lights your fire again, that this could be romantic too for some of you. Could be a fire sign, Virgos. But somebody comes in that makes you also feel alive again and excited for things and less spreadsheety. I almost said that the wrong way, but you know what I mean? This person is not spreadsheet. This person is just this really, their energy is almost palpable. It's also mature. This is very good for you. Look out for somebody it could be a man or a woman, it could be romantic or non-romantic, but look out for somebody who wants to come in and almost, I'm getting the scene from the Black Panther where the mom is saying, show them who you are, remember who you are. That's their vibe. I don't think they're going to say that to you. But that is really interesting. So that's a big old King of Wands coming in for you, Virgo, as the thing that you don't see coming. Because with Pluto and Uranus having this strong conversation for a while, but especially with the, you know, this full moon and all that, and Mars, and you are bound, Virgo, to have some unexpected, we're all going to have some unexpected stuff, but you know, and Jupiter and Venus in Cancer is in a lovely sextile to your sign right now. Okay, Libras. The thing that you have control over is not what you say, how you say it. It's the Queen of Swords upside down. If you've been with me for any amount of time, you know that means that's not the direct Queen of Swords. That is, I'm going to say this because I know it's going to sting, Queen of Swords. Like I said, this week with the Mars in Libra, with in that grand trine with Uranus and Pluto, there's probably a need to liberate yourself from something. There's probably a need to like feel like I don't, there's probably a want to be more direct than maybe you have been in the past. That doesn't mean having to say it, however this is. They're just saying careful who you or how you engage with things, because you're more likely to go for the sting this week. And listen, if somebody deserves it, have at it. But a lot of times, if it's where you need to liberate yourself, sometimes you could just liberate. I heard my mom's voice very specifically, like her voice exactly when I pulled that card. She used to say to us our whole lives, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. She wasn't always good at practicing that rule. But we could really press her buttons. But we used to, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. And I know that was important to her because she did not. She did not get that from her mom. Ooh, I don't usually call my mom's energy in into. I even heard my full government name in her voice. Hey, what else, Libra? Man, part of me wants to come on here every day and do something supportive because of this energy, do another video, and the other part of me just really wants to crawl under a rock. Because putting myself out to the collective energy right now feels wonky. Definitely feel like I'm walking on eggshells. Which is another part that my energy is a little reserved. I would not be surprised if this video gets like super low views. There's two things here, Libra. We either have a situation that you're not expecting, where you used to look at somebody, and air signs are usually pretty sapiosexual, although Libra can be a little, they need both. They probably want to be physically attracted to that Venus run placement. And it's the aesthetic version of Venus, rather than the tangible version. Again, Libras are going to have their challenges right now with, will be probably, they'll be happy when Saturn and Neptune go all the way back into Pisces for a minute. But with the air signs and a trine, a full moon, no matter where you have Libra placements, you may be feeling this. But at some point during this week, something that feels like an intuitive hit, whether that's coming through clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, claircognizance, something that feels might be an intrusive thought. Again, we don't want to be reactionary. It's not even about how you will handle that with other people with the Queen of Swords in reverse. It is that I feel like you are unkind to yourself, or this intrusive thought that comes in very, the veil is, it, the line between the intrusive thought or the hit is so foggy because of all the other energy surging in, like a flux capacitor with the air signs this week, with Mars and Pluto and Uranus. I'm concerned about the anxiety it gives you that you don't have to have. It feels like this thing is not true, not because you are having intrusive thoughts to the point that you don't have gifts, you do. But whatever this is, you don't have to take it on and you don't have to have anxiety about it. The other situation that could be happening here is that I started to say, like, you're probably sapiosexual. Somebody that you used to be attracted to because of the way they spoke or the way that they thought or the way something, you might be a little less impressed by them this week. I'm just saying. They may come off a little, you might feel the connection crack a tiny bit this week. Again, we're not reacting this week. But like the most important thing is, if you feel like fear coming on or like an anxiety thought and you think it's a hit, get confirmation someplace else. But I'm going to say it's probably safe to think that you don't have to, whatever this thing is that you're feeling, it's probably not really coming at you. That felt really important for Libra. And wow, my mom coming in is crazy. My heart's beating and I feel dry. Libra rules your fourth house with Mars, Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter here. Okay. I would be careful. Maybe you might have there could be people who are associated with your home base, whether that's your old home base or your current home base. There could just be like fights that don't need to happen, or arguments, or people are miscommunicating with each other. One person's brevity can be interpreted as another person's terseness. You're feeling anxious at the moment. Okay, so let's call back your power. Call back my power to me from anyone using it with or without my permission. Imagine like a lovely warm red light between your belly and your tailbone. Imagine that you are in a lush, safe, beautiful forest, that the sun is shining on you and your feet are flat on the ground with no shoes. And ask that any energy that doesn't belong to you or isn't in your highest good, that is affecting your spiritual body, emotional body, mental body, or nervous system and physical body, be rejected or released. Could somebody timestamp what I just did? Because I think I'm just going to make that into a short and put it out for everyone for this week. That is just a quick. Because sometimes we're at work. Sometimes we're in places where we can't like go sit in, lotus position and meditate to ground. Sometimes we need a really quick redirect. I have the other screen turned off, so I can't see all my stats. I really need to be just with the cards and with the chat, and I'm in the Zoom setting. I'm not in the YouTube setting. So I don't have a time available to myself. And because I'm not recording on Zoom, it's not giving me a time. You're welcome, Nikki. Okay. Scorpio, universe has you, don't do anything. Don't say anything. Don't make any moves. And the first thing I heard is, oh yeah, wait a minute, Mr. Postman. Hey, 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 which are the Marvels. Mr. Postman. You have the Hangman, and it's in the upright. It's not time for decisions. It's not time for anything. It is just time. Ooh, that was channeled. That did not come out of my brain. Never said that, those string of words before. The thing that and that's all I have for Scorpio. That was very clear. I heard the wait a minute, Mr. Postman. Hey, hey, there might be more to that with the lyrics because I kind of want to keep on singing it and I really don't want to sing it. But I don't know that song beyond that off the top of my head like that. So yeah. So Scorpio, you are squaring this full moon. You are squaring the Mercury retrograde. You're in a trine with Venus and Jupiter, and you are in a trine with the North Node. You're also in a sextile with the South. And that Libra Mars is just kind of annoying right now to you. The fact that I heard the, oh yeah, wait a minute, Mr. Postman. I can't hear the next line, but I know that there's something to it, but that seems like minimal. It's the communication. If there was something you were thinking about communicating, there's something that hasn't unfolded yet before you make a decision or make a statement or have that communication. Like universe has you on hold because there's some information you can't have yet, you won't have yet because there's somebody else that like it's going to be You're gonna know what that is. It's going to change how you were gonna handle a situation. So just pause, which Scorpio is actually fairly good at. Don't nail the coffin shut. That's what I just heard. The thing that you may not see coming is that you are also, which is interesting because of the squares, you are also probably gonna have a moment this week where your gifts seem like unavoidably hello knocking. You could also feel really, the gifts might come through because you feel somebody else's energy in a way that you're not used to. You might be connected to this person already, but now you're like feeling the energy, like you understand that that's what it is. So you got gifts going in. All right, let's look at Sagittarius. Sagittarius. I'm holding back from apologizing third time for not being in my usual state of energy. I'm not going to apologize for it. Did anybody get the timestamp? I guess it's not that hard. It's going to be between Libra and Scorpio, right? I'll find the timestamp for that grounding. Page of Wands in reverse. Sagittarius, there's something that you feel like there's a hesitation to starting, or you might have felt like already, and then you saw somebody else doing something similar, or somebody else's, I don't know, but all of a sudden you felt like you feel less ready than you already did. Yeah. I don't know why I'm hearing tax code. Thank you, Juan. I'm hearing tax code, almost like you're all prepared, but there's this one thing that you just went like, oh, I didn't know how to do that. So either you're more ready than you think you are, or if this is you, you'll know that like you were all geared up to like launch something or do something. You're kind of maybe waiting for Mercury retrograde to let it be over so you can start it. This is also really good for ninth house placements. And by the way, that Libra reading that was so intense, that was good for if you have like sun, moon in seventh. You'll know if this is you because you thought you had every T crossed and every I dotted until you just realized that there was like a bigger piece that's missing. The delay is also helping you for some reason. Yeah, the delay is helping you. And I think you're going to be, I know Mercury comes out of retrograde on the 11th. It goes completely direct. It's probably going to be a little wonky till the 12th or the 13th. I'm hearing Pisces full moon for Sagittarius. You're still getting your start. You're still ready. You're ready in every other way. And I guess look up tax codes for your state or something. I don't know. That was odd. Let's see what you don't see coming in. But like, yeah, don't abandon it altogether. Don't get bored and like, and you'll get help. Oh, there is like a reunion or something that you don't see coming in, Sagittarius. This could be like a friend reunion. This is like something to be celebrated. This could be a family reunion. Something is going to get planned. Something is going to get And you could just be getting support. It's funny because one of my oldest friends is a Sag moon. And uh, we just said that we made an appointment this week to catch up. We usually do like every 2 or 3 months, but now we haven't for probably like 4 or 5. And so, but yeah, there's some kind of like, it almost feels sisterly reconnection. And if it's not that for you, then there is some kind of celebration that you're not expecting. Something comes in that you get to celebrate. And other people are going to be very happy for you, and other people are going to want to celebrate this. It almost affects other people too, Sagittarius. That's beautiful. Okay, Capricorn. Capricorn. Okay, Capricorn, you are doing a lot of detachment. It does not surprise me because is it Wednesday the moon goes into Cap, or Tuesday during the day the moon goes into Cap? Um, you are letting go of a major attachment. And if it feels uncomfortable, this is your sign to go with it. This is really, really beneficial for you. Um, you can totally move forward without this thing, Capricorn. I was just thinking about a Capricorn. I know that I keep saying, like, let go of that, be happy. So I hope for them that also is the case. It's what it looks like, or what it has to look like. For some of you, it's about a specific person, but for most of you, it's what it looks like. The thing that you don't see coming, take this with a grain of salt. It's going to feel in this week. Remember, all these cards are for this week. This is not for the next 6 months. I'm not telling you this is what your whole next year looks like, but just for this week, there is going to be something that feels a tiny bit destabilizing, either internally or externally. You have something huge coming in, like good, but it's destabilizing. The beginning of the destabilizing part before you can completely move it. There's detachment and destabilizing, which is always what comes right before really good shit, Capricorn. I am feeling November is when you realize, like, oh, this is really good, but might be till February till you totally get to have it in your hand. And it's like, it's here and it's happening in the now. But the work you do to deconstruct and let things destabilize, which is really hard for a Capricorn, the not my circus, not my monkeys, the better the reward. Feels like early winter into midwinter. Aquarius. I'm gonna make red lentil flour. I try to make red lentil because I make homemade pasta, but now I need to make it gluten-free. So I'm gonna try that tonight. Maybe I'll let y'all know how it goes. Some pesto. Got everything to make homemade pesto. Aquarius. This is a very interesting thing. You've got this is such Saturn Aquarius energy right here. I'm going to tell you the thing that you can control, because Aquarius can kind of always, and the thing you don't expect, which you'll have a solution for. Don't emotionally invest in whatever this is. You tend to be pretty emotionally mature. Again, I will die on the hill that Aquarius isn't cold and detached. They are not about the bullshit. They will not be manipulated as easily. And they also just, they don't have as many, they naturally and organically won't have as many unhealthy attachments as the other signs. And if you told an Aquarius, like, hey, if you do this thing again, I'm going to leave you. And then they do the thing again because that's what they need for them. And you're like, I'm leaving. You're going to get, okay, I understand that because you put down a boundary and I crossed it. Right. And so I'm not saying Aquarius won't fight for people, but if it looks like it's going to be drama, they may avoid it. Like, that seems logical. You laid a boundary down. I crossed it. That's on me. That's my bad. And that's who I think I am. And I don't feel like that's going to change about me. So I'm not going to ask you, I'm not going to beg for your forgiveness just to do it to you again, because that would not be fair. Which could turn into the other person, did you ever even love me? Right? Like, Aquarius. I can't believe I'm about to say this. Whatever the situation is, careful about holding space, careful about being everybody's, like, sometimes Aquarius attracts people that have a problem for every solution. There's something you need to just step back from this week. Both cards are kind of like what you can control, and what is coming is kind of the same thing. You don't have to be the strong one. You don't have to be the most emotionally mature one, because I feel like it's, I hate to say this, for half of you or 11th house placements or something, there's something like, it's not like a trap in a devious way, but like all of your energy put into this, it's just going to happen again. And you won't be mad at them. You'll be mad at yourself. That's what it is. Again, we are just, everybody's going to be like, my person ghosted me because you told everybody to stay quiet. Don't react to anything. Go in a cave. Guilty. Okay. Pisces. Ground while you're getting things. Ground, ground, ground this week, because that air trine. And the Venus Jupiter trine are both, well, it's a trine to you. The air trine is, some of that is squaring you. It's like when you have that kind of a grand trine, all that unfettered flow, all that unrestricted flow is then square. The whole thing is squaring you through the Uranus. Be gentle with yourself with your intuitive hits. Make sure that you are doing all the things to ground. Everybody's energy feels wonky. Be protective of yours. There's also something with mom going on here. I don't think it's bad at all, but there could be conversations to be having with mom about generations before that is going to clear something up for you that you need to hear, Pisces. Today is very, maybe it's the energy work, and I was just connected to somebody that's like very good at that. today is like a rush. Every card is like a rush of I'm hearing and seeing and feeling and knowing at the same time. Usually it's one or the other. It's the Uranus Pluto, and also I'm having my own transits with that with my own Uranus, and Uranus is trying my Uranus right now. And Mars is coming from my Uranus. And again, I feel like my throat just got punched. Woo! Last sign. The thing you don't see coming is there might be inner conflict that you're not expecting. Something that you may have felt kind of like sure about. You may have some inner conflict. Here's the thing. And this is, I'm just going to show you this card. So we have like the piece is missing, right? Like the heart on the sleeve. This could be a love interest coming back. This could be somebody you have love for. If you don't feel safe fully connecting to this, don't. But you may also have inner, for me, 5 of Swords is very like inner conflict. But also like this doesn't have to keep going back and forth. If there's a conflict, it doesn't need to keep happening. I don't think the conflict exists beyond the energy of it. I don't think it will continue unless somebody continues it, Pisces. I don't know if you're having deja vu about like an old romantic relationship and you're wondering, could that have gone differently? And I think that relationship is supposed to stay in the past for some of you. That feels like 1 or 2. It does feel like this person is very energetically in your presence. In this card, I don't know if you could see, they're like not together, but their hands are like over each other. They're like touching, almost like when you stand so close to somebody and we're not holding hands, or you wonder if they're going to grab your hand because you keep kind of like touching hands. I don't know if anybody's had that experience. I feel like that's probably a common experience, but ask your guides why you would be feeling that person's energy or thinking about them again, or some part of you that you were, and that maybe that's just to show you your growth from the last time you were in a relationship with that person. I was thinking about giving away a reading this week. I think that is unrealistic for me. I need the capacity to do beyond what I'm doing this week, and I don't think that I have that because I'm very, very busy. Do I have an extra 15 minutes? Yes. In this kind of week, will it stay 15 minutes? Probably not. And I am, because last week was such a week for me, I'm a little backed up on my other stuff, the behind the scenes stuff. But what I will say is next week, please come back, because next week I will give away, once that Aquarius moon is done and I've got I feel a little like I can give my energy to somebody having something they need to deal with. I will happily give away a reading at the end of next week, like a 15-minute. It'll be tarot only. If you are interested in a metaphysical reading, those are on SuzzyEvolutionary.com. If you are interested in astrological readings, those are on Woke Astrology, Lori Rivers, Awake Space. I mean, if you look her up, she comes up instantly. That's where I'm doing, and I have a 30-minute reading, and I have a coupon code for that. If you are interested, you can hit the contact on my email and tell me that you want the coupon code for like even a half an hour astrology appointment. If you've got stuff going on and you want a personal reading, always you can either book on either of those. But if you're interested in coupon code, then I can send that to you for the Awake Space. I love you. Now you love you. Be good to yourselves. Take lots of like whatever self-care you need, cheap therapy, binge your shows that make you laugh. And normally I would say like, you know, that I used to have that meme up all the time on my thing, stay close to people who feel like sunshine. If the people who normally feel like comfort to you, remember the astrology is affecting them too. So they may be having an off week, or they may be having like, so don't, it's important not to take anything personal, because everybody's got that Uranus, Pluto, Mars this week. And it's in air. Everybody's got that. Not one person escapes that. So, and everything else. So be gentle with yourself, the best, and it really forces us to learn how to be, you know, a self-watering flower for this week, which is actually really healthy. It's a great week to work out any kind of codependency issues you may have with any person or anything or anyone, or any source, so that we learn how to self-soothe this week is going to be big. And that's it. I will see members on Wednesday for part 2 of the moon stuff. And I will do, I have to look at my schedule, but I will do a full moon in Aquarius special. And if you have membership, there'll be chart reads for that. All right. Everybody have a great week.